So you have goals, but you feel like you're not doing enough. That causes internal discomfort and you feel like you're stuck. Let's talk about the only 3 realistic paths that you can take from here. And the good news is that 2 out of those 3 paths are actually constructive. Before we get into these 3 paths, let's talk about one path that people would like to take, but it's impossible. It's unrealistic, it's imaginary. That's the path from I'm not doing enough immediately into I'm doing great. Once again, impossible. We will not waste any time explaining why it's impossible because you've tried it thousands of times and it didn't work. So from I'm not doing enough to I'm doing great and I'm doing a lot instantly doesn't happen. So 3 paths. Let's start with the worst one. You tell yourself you're a loser, you're a failure, you will not amount to anything. You will never catch up with the work that you have in front of yourself. You will never manage to actually move consistently toward your goals. That is, you allow your inner critic to completely take over, you bash yourself, which creates a downward spiral because you feel dysregulated. That dysregulation leads to you wanting to self-soothe. You reach for maladaptive attempts at self-soothing, such as binge eating, binge watching, doom scrolling, adult content, and maybe even use of psychoactive substances. So I'm guessing a lot of you have tried this and you realized this is not really what I want in life. But the other 2 paths might be the right for you. I'm going to make a bet that they are better. Both of them actually involve building up towards doing enough, doing more, doing great, doing amazing. This is a ramp. So you're building a ramp to take off towards enough, more, great, amazing, immense, and all of those great concepts that you are capable of, but you've been struggling to get to. So in both cases, we are building a takeoff ramp. However, the difference between them is that in one case, we are redesigning the ramp, and in another case, there is no need to redesign the ramp, but there is need to redesign the self-talk leading up to the ramp. So let's talk about redesigning the ramp. What is enough? If the ramp is leading to enough and more, as I say in both cases, we need to start redesigning the ramp by actually questioning what is enough. Is it enough if I feel like I'm not doing enough? Is it enough to put in 5 minutes of work more than I have been putting in over the last couple of days? If I've been in a slump for a day or a week or a month, the same thing applies, by the way. So I'm asking myself, in this period that I have been feeling like I'm not doing enough, can I question what is enough? And is there a need to redesign what enough is? Because if I have been putting in 30 minutes per day into my project, but I feel like enough would be 3 hours, well, I'm setting myself up for failure. If I have been putting in 0 minutes per day, or on average just 20-30 minutes per week, and I'm thinking that enough is a couple of hours every day, what are we doing here? That is no way to build a ramp. So, in this case, how you go from I'm not doing enough to actually taking off towards more is you redesign the ramp, meaning you redesign what enough means. First task, first challenge, sit with yourself, inquire with yourself what is enough and how can I make that enough realistic enough, okay, realistic enough, not pun intended, for me to be able to take off. Again, let's consider in minutes, in repetitions, in certain metrics that can make this somewhat tangible. Next one, self-talk before the ramp. Let's say you have acknowledged, okay, 5 minutes is going to be enough. I just want to spend 5 minutes per day playing the guitar. It would be enough because lately I've been doing it for 0 minutes each day. I want to write 5 sentences, 3 sentences, 7 sentences per day because lately I've been writing 0 sentences per day or maybe 1 sentence or 5 sentences every third day. So enough would be for me to start showing up daily in a minimal capacity. Amazing, amazing. You have a great redesigning of the ramp and now you are at this point where there is something next needed. This next thing, or sometimes completely separate, if the ramp is realistic enough, sometimes completely separate, is self-talk. What is that self-talk? Well, in a moment of emotional dysregulation, please pay attention. What do? If you are your own coach, if you are your own mentor, if you are your own best friend, if you are your own big brother or sister, a loving big brother or sister, an encouraging big brother or sister, how would you shift the momentum of your day so that you go from you are a loser, you're a failure, to you can put in those 5 minutes of effort. You can go for a walk to a little bit clear your thoughts. You can grab a piece of chocolate or, I don't know, 2, 3, 5 pieces of chocolate, but not a whole box of chocolate, to get some sugar into your system to feel slightly better. You can grab a coffee if it's not, too late in the day. You can do that thing which is not directly productive but will make you feel better, so that then you will be in a better mood, in a better state of mind, and in a better emotional state to do even that minimum amount of work. So self-talk, which is actually, I would say, an overly simple way to say a relationship with yourself. It's not just self-talk, it's a continuous relationship with yourself, but it matters especially in those moments of dysregulation, and we might add self-imposed dysregulation that was caused by negative self-talk, that was caused by letting the inner critic take over. Side note, the previous video that I made was about how to deal with the inner critic. So if you haven't watched it, I think it's going to be extremely relevant for this, extremely helpful. Actually, I don't think, I know it will. So 3 paths: creating a downward spiral and, skiing down that downward spiral with your negative self-talk that you're really used to. Or maybe you notice, okay, I actually need to redesign what enough is so that I can actually take off from my takeoff ramp and go gradually towards more and great. Or maybe I recognize, okay, I have settled on what enough is and it's realistic enough. However, I'm even struggling to do that realistic enough. Why? Well, because I'm putting myself down. Well, that means that this one is going to be connected with this one, and you pretty much have it all figured out by now. You have something very concrete to tend to, and that is the question of what is enough, and the question of how am I treating myself in moments of emotional dysregulation caused by negative self-talk, that negative self-talk caused by me, quote unquote, not doing enough. You can do enough, you will do enough, you will do more than enough, you will do amazing if you start being your own best friend, and this is how it can look like on a very practical level. Thank you.